It's a numbers game. How many times have you heard it said sales is a numbers game? You want more sales, you make more sales calls. And if you make enough numbers, you'll make your objective. You know, there's a story about two gentlemen who lived in the city. They drove out to a farm and they bought watermelons for $1 a piece. They drove back into the city and they sold them for $1 a piece. And this went on for about a week or two when one of them turned to the other and said, "We're selling a lot of watermelons. We really are, but we're not making any money." And he said, "I know what the answer is. The answer is we need a bigger truck." How many times do we approach sales with that same concept of a bigger truck, more numbers? If our numbers and our objectives and our sales goals are not being met, let's go out and make more calls. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Are we doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome? Are we getting a bigger truck? Are we taking the time at looking exactly what we're doing and see if it makes any sense? You know, a lot of us have the natural tools and abilities to get the job done. I remember once in IBM, a gentleman by the name of Ed Barrow was on my team, and I called a sales meeting and said, "We're going to have some sales training because we need to get our numbers up." And Ed Barrow walked over to me and said, "Another sales meeting?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely. We need more sales tools, and we've got to get good. We've got to get our numbers up." And this is where Ed said probably the most clever thing I've ever heard in my entire life. He looked me right in the eye and he said, "Rich, I don't sell as well as I already know how to." How clever that was. Sometimes we go out and we make sales calls over and over and over again, and we do the things that we think we should do as salespeople, never looking at the quality of what we're doing. You see, successful selling is like wearing a tool belt. And in that tool belt are all the tools and skills and techniques that you've learned over the years. But do we ever take the time to decide what tool to use when? The successful sales that are made by using the right tool at the right time in the right place. And not just getting a bigger truck and running out faster and you're running down the road at 100 miles an hour, and when you don't achieve your sales objectives, what do? You run faster. And if that doesn't work, you know what you do? You go out and you look for more tools just to use indiscriminately to get the job done. You know, one of my favorite things to do is to walk around Home Depot. I love it. I walk through the aisles and I look at all the tools, and I can even use some of them without getting hurt too badly. But you know, if someone gave me every one of those tools and they put all the materials in front of me to build a house, I don't think I could accomplish it. Because having tools and even knowing how to use some of them doesn't get the job done unless you know what tool to use at what time in the right place.